Super Mario Bros isn't really a series known for its unsettling occurrences. Very rarely do we have things that occur that leave us truly freaked out or feeling generally spooked. Now, mind you, there have been things over the years that have certainly bothered people, like the killer piano in Super Mario 64, or more recently the creepy figures that loom over you in the distance in Super Mario Galaxy 2. These sky trees, as they're known to be called, are certainly eerie and unsettling. But they weren't the last occurrence in the Mario series for spooky mysteries, because only about a year later, something else emerged. Something always watching us throughout our entire journey. Something ghostly, unlike anything else in the Mario universe. This is the story of the lingering ghost of Super Mario 3D Land. So, I'll be honest, Super Mario 3D Land was not a game I owned until later down the line. I did not have a 3DS, and I actually missed out on a whole lot of games from that era. This was, of course, because life was taking me in a different direction, from college to the good old American workforce. So this mystery was something I experienced secondhand at first, simply because I didn't have the capabilities of checking it out myself. However, coming from the world of the Hell Valley Skytrees, it felt all too familiar. So in order to check out this thing that spooked people, first we need to head to World 4, Stage 4. This level is the first ghost house of the game. You start off in a candlelit corridor and make your way through a vast, dark room with platforms that only spawn in front of you as you get near. The level itself is pretty linear, as most stages are in this game, and it isn't too difficult to get to the end. But this is also one of the reasons why so many people miss this apparition. When you head through the purple door at the end, you're presented with the flagpole in an outside spooky setting. At this point, most people run up and grab it and move on to the next stage, especially since all the levels in the game are timed. It creates a sense of urgency, so to speak. But if you linger in this area and head on out to the fence in the back, you'll see something appear after a while. It takes a bit of time for this to occur, but just beyond the fence a ghostly figure appears. It materializes in front of you and just stares, and then it seems to freak out and then disintegrate slowly. If you wait for it to come back, it won't. You basically have to lose a life and come back to the same spot to trigger this being again. But up until this point, all we've really had to go off of is a fixed camera angle. However, today we can actually take a better look at this thing and see what it really looks like up close. And I gotta say, it's definitely very spooky. But a ghost appearing in a ghost level isn't too surprising normally. But the issue with this ghost is that it has a human-like shape, and not a cartoony shape. An actual human. This ghost looks like none of the other cartoony ghosts that appear in the Mario universe. It's about 4 times the height of Mario, and it is just lingering in the woods behind this level for no apparent reason. It definitely has Hell Valley Skytree vibes to it as well. But the thing is, most people know this as the World 4-4 ghost. As in, they associate it with this level because most people think this is the only area it can be found. And that's not true at all. Because in fact, this creepy figure is following us throughout the entire game. Really. Now, I know it doesn't come to any surprise, but any ghost level you go to has this creature lingering just outside the ghost house itself. All the flagpole areas in these dark Boo woods have the ghost waiting for you. Doesn't matter if it's World 4-4, World 6-6, or World 8-4. Even Special 6-5 carries this dark beast. But those last two I named off are a bit different. They're more special than World 4-4 and 6-6, because although they have this mysterious entity waiting for you at the end of the level, they also have the same apparition waiting for you at the start. Now, trying to get the ghost to spawn here for me was honestly a bit tricky. I actually missed it several times because the camera angle for the game isn't too good at all. But at the start of these stages, there are 2 windows with light coming in from the outside. Mind you, it's dark and hazy out there. In general, it's really hard to see. But if you wait here, our little ghost pal decides to come on up and start watching you through the windows. How someone noticed this initially is beyond me, because the spawn point for this ghost seems to be actually between the 2 windows, offset quite a bit backwards. You'd only see them through one of the squares in the window, and even then, it would be small. It took me around 15 minutes to finally catch a glimpse of this guy somehow because he wouldn't spawn with me normally standing in front of the window. I don't know why he wasn't appearing, but he eventually did. I'd generally be curious if anyone else had trouble getting him to appear like I did. Now that we've documented the locations where we can find the Ghost of World 4-4, let's talk about what it looks like. At first glance from far away, one might think it looks a bit like No-Face from Spirited Away. Heck, the face up close looks like a Shy Guy mask even. Lots of people loop this ghost in with the Hell Valley Skytrees, but upon immediately seeing it myself, I thought of another weird entity. Mind you, this one isn't from the Mario universe per se, but Mario certainly has been prominent in the series. A few years before Super Mario 3D Land came out, Super Smash Bros Brawl was released. If you boot up story mode, the Subspace Emissary, there are these ghost-like beings called Flow. I just remember these things freaking me out a ton when I first encountered them. And the trophy totally gives off mega creep vibes with all its ghostly faces that look similar to our ghosts from 3D Land. But circling back to the original figure though, there's a lot we still don't know. Getting a glimpse with a camera up close only tells us so much too. Because the figure is transparent, we lose out on details, so our quest goes a bit deeper. This is when I started checking to see how this particular figure was referenced in the files. In Super Mario Galaxy 2, our Hell Valley Sky Trees were part of a SkyBox object, which was basically a giant sphere with the texture pinned to it. But this is why trying to find this particular ghost is a nightmare. Combing through the 3D builds of the levels, the ghost doesn't appear. I was hoping there's going to be an object that cycled on and off, which would have made this a bit easier. If it is a texture and is applied to an actual model in the game, there's a high chance this texture actually has a name too. Every other object and material combo typically had names set so the 3D modeler knew what they were working with, but combing through all the objects in the game left me empty-handed too. My worst fear was that this ghost was pulled from a combined texture sheet, but I couldn't find it associated with any of the Ghost House level files. After looking through files for an hour or so though, I finally found what I was looking for. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if the name was stripped from the file itself, but I located our ghostly buddy, and it turns out him being shocked was indeed a separate sprite. Mind you, these giant ghosts we see in the game are only about 30 pixels wide and about 9 pixels tall sprite-wise. This is what a lossless upscale version of them look like. Kinda spooky to see that they don't actually have legs at all. But then again, I guess the portrait ghost in Luigi's Mansion didn't either. The ghost looks like a pale-faced man wearing a long-sleeved dark shirt. Truly something completely out of place given the Mario universe we are in. But something that looks very, very familiar in style to something quite famous. In 1893, expressionist painter Edvard Munch created a very iconic and terrifying painting called The Scream. And honestly, it's what I thought of right away once I saw the ghost in its clearest sprite form. Mind you, the hands aren't on the face, more than likely since a one-frame animation like that would have been pretty jarring. But the bright face, dark long-sleeve shirt, and what appears to be a lack of legs bodes well with what is present in the painting itself. Obviously, this can be the mind seeking out patterns where there aren't any, but given how iconic the painting is, it does make me wonder. But that's the end of the road. We don't know who added this strange ghost to the game, and given how long it has been, I'm not sure we'll ever have an answer. The ghost of World 4-4 will be something that Mario fans will remember for a very, very long time though. But that's enough from me. If anyone knows more about this creepy ghost, or if you have your own experiences surrounding it, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And with that, thanks for watching guys and gals, and until my next video, cheers.